Welcome, Armchair Generals, Weekend Warriors, and Saturday Soldiers alike. This is Ostentatiousness, and welcome back to R.U.S.E. When last we left off, we had defeated the Germans and the Italians at Kasserine Pass, and I had remembered to turn my microphone on. And again, Sheridan, I forgot his name, is relaying all this story in the middle of a German torture dungeon in Colditz Castle. Never forget that. He's basically monologuing. Not monologuing, flashbacking.
Colonel Campbell, I wasn't sure I'd ever see you again.
Believe me, sir, I'm as happy as you are. May I present Major Sheridan, 1st Armored Division?
Sir! Very well done at Kasserine, Sheridan. I just wish I could have been there to handle things myself. It's lucky I saw the opportunity and sent Colonel Campbell to help you out.
Sir?
The important thing is that we stop them. This is Rommel's high watermark. Now it's time to roll him back. Are you ready to help, Major?
Hell yes, sir.
Just one thing, General. Given Sheridan's role in the future, perhaps
Lieutenant Colonel Sheridan, congratulations on your promotion. You got the attitude and the talent that we need to finish this war. I'll have him do the paperwork immediately.
Sir, yes, sir. I'm looking forward to doing more of the same, sir.
Fucking Weatherby. You start seeing a lot of Sheridan's true colors, and he overcomes his flaws.
Most of his troops back to face Montgomery in the south. The main thrust of the offensive will be the 1st Infantry Division from the north, with my combat command leading.
Sir, HQ requests that we support our Free French allies, bypassing the enemy positions at CD Ike.
So basically, I'm taking the frogs for a walk.
The Italians still have armor, Colonel. Enough to keep us busy. Besides, General Weatherby's plan is not without its flaws. Attacking the Jerrys head-on in a canyon is,
Daring, sir?
I was more thinking of foolish, Captain Kowalski.
I do like that,
Very well, Lieutenant Colonel. It's time
I do
to
like
take the
that,
initiative.
a lot of Sheridan's troops follow him into, to the end of the war. So this mission is actually kind of difficult.
These Stuarts aren't the sturdiest tanks, but they compensate by being fast.
The M3A1 Stuart light tank proudly bore the name of the daring American Civil War cavalry general. Due to a powerful engine, it could drive around the enemy and strike where it hurt most, while dodging any serious riposte. Although poorly armored and equipped with a feeble 37mm gun. By the way, this is the Stuart is basically America's second tank. So the Italians who've been fighting this war for, this is 43, I believe, 43 or 42, either 3 or 4 years, and had experience in Ethiopia, still haven't developed a tank that's better than the second main American tank ever built. The Stuart could intervene anywhere quickly and in large numbers. They are best often used as frontline firemen or as quick response defense force or as infantry, against which its 30 caliber machine guns are highly effective. This, I believe, is America's first tank, the shittiest tank ever, the Lee. Thank you for pausing it. Developed in urgency after the outbreak of the war, and inspired by the French B-1B's design. If anyone knows their French tanks, they'll know how bad of a design that was. The M3 Lee cannot be considered a successful medium tank. It, however, can be considered a successful crematorium for its crews. It was hampered by poor mobility and bolted armor that was dangerous for its crews. There are stories I've read where Lees took a glancing blows, and there's a phenomenon in tanks called spalling, where the tank plate is brittle and it shatters and sends shrapnel inside the tank. The Lees could take a glancing blow from a tank round that creates spalling that killed the crew. Yeah. Its feeble 37mm main gun, a short-barreled 75mm mount in its hull. That was actually not a bad gun. Around a highly flammable petrol, ooh yes. The Lee was some of the best, had some utility as a frontline mobile fortification and can be used to bear the brunt of enemy hits while more effective guns deploy under its protection. Basically, the best use of American early tanks was actually as mobile defenses. They were terrible when deployed offensively, but they actually weren't that bad as a fixed defense. Light tanks are fast but lightly armored. Tanks may fire while moving, but with decreased accuracy. HE-111 bombers. I don't want to use my second ruse because I actually don't know
Sir, HQ has provided us with a new route.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I don't actually know. I'm gonna get those tanks eventually. I just want to wait. I don't actually know if I'm gonna need any more ruses next in the next deployment. Hotchkiss tanks. Do we have any of the Bs? Yes, the B1 BIS. The heavy tank B1 BIS was a huge monster whose armor was long considered impenetrable. However, the incredible resistance
Italian
came
light
to an
tank dead ahead.
equally
4
impressive
against 1 should
lack
be
of speed.
child's play.
Despite its flaw, once engaged with the enemy, its armament worked wonders and was equipped a 47mm anti-tank gun. Again, better. That was a start of the war French tank, and it had a better gun than the mid-war Italians did. A short-barreled 75mm gun with explosive shells in its hull and machine guns. The B1 BIS cannot merely engage any early war tank and easily wipe out waves of infantry, but also close on enemy fortifications to pulverize them and act as a shield for accompanying units. And the B1 BIS got spectacularly fucked by the Germans. So what you're seeing here, and I wish I could actually highlight them, are Italian flame tanks.
Two light tanks straight ahead, sir.
Everyone used flamethrower tanks during the war. The Commonwealth, the Germans, the Japanese, the Americans. Hold to select a unit within a rectangle. So, yes. The flamethrower tanks were just horrible things. There is
Enemy destroyed.
pretty much a reason why no one, the Americans included, actually use
Sir, we have a German medium tank straight
flamethrowers
ahead.
anymore, because it's too horrific a human rights abuse. So yeah, the I'll read out more of the descriptions when I start playing them, but yeah, the Italians are, sorry, the French are Frenching it up. Again, the French get a lot of undue shit. Stuck? They fought the war for, the Free French. Again, the Free French were actually in rebellion against their own government. The French government settled the legitimate government of France.
Panzer IV. That's a hard target, Lieutenant Colonel.
Legitimately,
Concentrate your fire on it.
wasn't a German puppet, or at least a German ally, but, they'd ended the war with the Germans. They were done.
Unit reports damage, sir.
And yeah, so these Free French forces were rebelling against them. But no, the French fought with practically no supplies against the Germans and the Italians, and they did a remarkable job, all things being equal.
Bullseye, Colonel.
I have
had the feeling you'd be good at
issues
blowing
with
things up.
De Gaulle. De Gaulle certainly. He was. Oh, by the way, look at Weatherby, fucking getting stuck on a bridge. And he even has. Oh, I thought he had a howitzer there. I was going to say he even has artillery. Yeah, De Gaulle was angling for a very prominent position in the post-war government. He
Closing on target.
To him, the war was merely a political thing, and he was not a bad man. He was a flawed man, but he was not a bad man. I just personally disagree with his...
2 Panzer IVs counterattacking. Pull back, Sheridan. You don't have the firepower to take them on.
Our cruisers can't repel firepower of that magnitude. Yeah, so he was fighting a political war. He basically considered the war, so as to speak.
A battalion of lead tanks is joining us. They'll help us take care of the enemy armor.
Excellent. Let's get rid of those panzers.
Medium tanks have better armor and guns, but are slower. Yeah, so De Gaulle was basically like, oh, I'm going to be the next president of France. I mean, he was. So that's the end I'm fighting for, not really to free France. So he made questionable appointments and questionable strategic decisions for the purpose of staying in power. And I understand, intellectually, I'm adult enough that I can understand that, a lot of people have made decisions like that, but that rubs me the wrong way from De Gaulle. Leclerc was a much better commander and a much more honest one. He, Jesus, did they just fuck up a battery of German? Yeah, they fucked up a battery of German 88s. Again, he was not a man without his flaws, but he was at least more honest about them than de Gaulle was.
Receiving report. Unit engaging hostile.
Let's use my old trick of firing on the tank that isn't broken in a moment.
Unit reports heavy fire. Receiving report. Unit engaging hostile. Open fire on target.
Pretty sure, yeah, the Bussagli in this don't actually have anti-tank weapons. If they did, like, my guys would be fucked.
Colonel Leduc here, commanding the Constantine Division. Is anyone receiving this? Over.
This is Combat Command B, Colonel Leduc. What happened to General Wellwelt? Well done, Colonel. Your new rank suits you well.
He's been killed. They're running around
Oh,
over us.
man.
The Italians weren't supposed to have this kind of strength. Our offensive has been halted. Repeat, we've been stopped. Leduc out.
There's something wrong. That's not.
Oh,
what
I believe those
headquarters
are the Italian 100mm
Agreed,
guns.
Captain Kowalski. But we could forge our own opinion by sending operatives behind their lines.
said. You mean spies, sir?
Damn it, let me...
If you want to be simple, Kowalski,
Oh,
Sure.
90mm guns.
spies can expose the enemy units in the sector, but broadcasts are short because the Jerrys track them down.
And... they didn't even think I was worth 88s. They gave me fucking 37mm guns.
By
Those
Jove.
rules.
They were waiting for us.
If that was actually manned, that would be a formidable blockhouse.
They have a strong anti-tank line set up. Nothing with treads will get across there. We need infantry to take those guns out.
I'll get headquarters on the line and request engineers to build us a base.
We'll take City Aish, right here.
No,
and
City
wait until
Ike.
the forward base is operational. Then we'll finish the
Fucking
Italians
Americans.
once and for all. Let Leduc know what's coming, okay?
Hold tight, Lieutenant
I don't get why
Colonel.
there's the
The
wall
engineers
around,
should be here shortly.
the buildings. I actually don't understand
Sir,
that.
intel reports enemy movement towards CD Ike.
Hardly surprising. You have to hold the line, Colonel.
Sir.
And remember, it's better to have our medium tanks taking the hits than our light ones.
Unit reports contact with hostile.
Pretty sure that's...
Unit down, sir.
Does actually say, oh yeah, no, 75mm gun.
Unit under sustained fire.
I should fuck these things right. My god, the fact that this thing is just fucking bouncing. Oh yeah, I guess because they're technically light tanks. One thing I do find a little disappointing is the game basically just goes by a rudimentary heavy tank, medium tank, light tank designation. Like it doesn't take into account coordinates. That thing should be butchering my fucking tanks. Like 45mm. Yeah, that had more than 45mm.
Unit under sustained fire.
Interesting fact. So
Just
the
a few more
Americans
minutes, Colonel. The engineers are almost there.
are famous for naming their tanks after civil war generals. They weren't actually the ones who did that though. That was actually the British who named a lot of the American tanks after civil war generals. So a bizarre thing. Yes.
Sir, the agent we sent to spy is no longer active.
Such a discovery. Oh shit. no, no.
Receiving report. Our units are under fire.
Worth wasting it.
They're retreating, sir. Reporting the case headed lost, sir.
Just to consolidate. God damn it. I think that's my poor showing in his mission yet. Or in a mission yet. So yeah, I've never played on this difficulty before. And I haven't played this.
Unit opening fire on the enemy.
The engineers are here. They're building a barracks in the forward area.
Perfect.
About to get
We'll
fucked
take
right
the
now.
headquarters here. That'll cut the head off the snake that's hissing at Colonel Leduc.
Breaking up, sir.
Of course, they fucking berserkers.
Sir, the 16th Infantry Regiment is ready and able.
Excellent news. They're the only units we have who can neutralize their AT guns.
Our units are under fire.
Yeah, give me a second. Trying to get fucked up here.
Unit is giving
Is that a
up
heavy
its
tank?
position.
Ah, yeah.
Our unit has been wiped out. Unit reporting heavy fire. Sir, reporting one of our units is down. Sir, reporting lost. We have been given a new route. Unit under fire.
Shame don't give me something that makes me fight. Fuck's sake, you morons.
Has been destroyed. Unit reporting heavy fire.
Wow, this is the first time I have to reload it. Restart a mission. Wow. So yeah. No, we've already seen you. High level difficulty, guys.
Rommel has
We've already heard you.
Very well, Lieutenant
already heard
Colonel.
you.
It's time to take the initiative.
Yes, sir. Engage enemy. I repeat, engage enemy. Yes, sir. We're trying to find the right
Oh,
frequency.
fuck's sake.
These Stuarts aren't the sturdiest tanks, but they compensate by being fast.
It's funny, yeah. A lot of the American tanks, the Lee and the Stuart, I believe are named after Confederate generals, which is again, that's not what the Americans named them. That was what the
Closing on target.
that's what the British named them.
The rest of the R.U.S.E division, get them.
Engage enemy. Closing on target.
Yes, yes, we know they're lightly armored. Yes. Fire on them. Also, interesting. It's funny. This says GC Wellwort, and yet, when we
Destroy it. Over.
have the break in the mission, it's renamed.
Italian light tank dead ahead.
4 against 1 should be child's play.
Destroy target. Closing on target. Enemy engaged.
So this is just teaching you how to use armor. You've already learned how to use infantry and anti-tank guns, and aside from aircraft, that's basically the
Commander, you have your orders. Destroy target.
third leg of it. The Maginot Bunker.
2 light tanks straight
About
ahead,
as
sir.
useful as the actual Maginot line, to be quite honest with you.
Target. Receiving report.
Yes, yes. Stop holding my dick.
Commander, you have your orders. Destroy target. Unit reports heavy fire. Commander, you have your orders. Destroy target.
Fortunately,
Enemy destroyed.
it's the Italian tank. You can't reverse fast enough. We can advance.
Sir, we have a German medium tank straight ahead.
I love the little clouds of smoke my tanks are throwing out.
A Panzer IV. That's a hard target, Lieutenant Colonel. Concentrate your fire on it.
As opposed to what? Attack the other fucking tank?
Opening fire on the enemy.
Now this would never work. You'd never penetrate the armor of a Panzer IV by attacking from the front. What you would try and do is you try and have it pinned in place and attack from the rear.
Unit reports engagement in progress. Open fire on designated target. Closing on target.
Bullseye, Colonel. I had the feeling you'd be good at blowing things up.
Well, I am Australian. One thing I do appreciate is that the tanks will retreat, so it will reverse sometimes rather than turning around. I'm not sure if the tanks have weaker rear armor, but you know, you want to believe they do.
2 Panzer IVs counterattacking. Pull back, Sheridan. You don't have the firepower to take them on.
Yes, yes, our cruisers can't repel firepower of that magnitude. Kind of impressed that that handled as quickly as it was, smoothly as it did. Now, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty
Battalion
sure
of Lee
that
tanks is joining us.
units will
They'll help
advance
us take
as
care of the
fast
enemy
as
armor.
as slow as you.
Excellent. Let's get rid of
Which
those
kind of stops,
Panzers.
you know, your light tanks and your medium tanks outpacing your heavy tanks. Look at this fucking hideous monstrosity. Ah, nice pausing. Yup. That profile is horrendous. It's the kind of profile you'd expect to see on a fucking Warhammer 40k tank.
Yes, sir. Engage enemy. I repeat, engage enemy.
Oh, no, they're advancing faster than, huh. Bad game design.
Move to destination. Full speed. Squad commander, open fire on target.
So you want your medium tanks to eat the hits before your light tanks do. I do find it interesting that these German tanks seem to have a much further firing range than light tanks do. It might just be because they're stationary though. One thing I think would have been interesting to see what they would have done with naval units and seeing about integrating them into the game. I think that would have been an interesting thing to try.
Receiving report. One plan.
Commander Duke here, commanding the Constantine Division. Is anyone receiving this? Over.
Well
believe
done,
that
Colonel.
division is
Your
named
new
after
rank
Constantine
suits you
the
well.
Great.
This
Heard he
is
was pretty
Combat
alright.
Command B, Colonel Leduc. What happened to General Wellworth?
He's been killed. They're running right over us. The Italians weren't supposed to have this kind of strength. Our offensive has been halted. Repeat, we've been stopped. Leduc out.
There's something wrong. That's not what headquarters said.
Agreed, Captain Kowalski. We could forge our own opinion by sending operatives behind their lines.
You mean spies, sir?
If you want to be simple, Kowalski, it's your decision, Colonel. Spies can expose the enemy units in the sector, but broadcasts are short because the Jerrys track them down.
Yes, sir. We're trying to find the right frequency.
By Jove. They were waiting
Who's this
for
Joe?
us.
God damn it.
They have a strong anti-tank line set up. Nothing with treads will get across there.
And if they had artillery pieces in those forward bunkers and
I'll
infantry
get
and machine
headquarters
guns,
on the
nothing
line
would
and
be getting
request
past there.
engineers to build us a base.
There is a reason.
We'll take City Aish, right here. And
There
wait
is a
until
reason
forward
why the,
base is operational. Then we'll
why
finish
Normandy
the
had such
Italians
horrendous
once and
casualties, and
for
that's
all.
because a
Let
fortified
the Duke
bunker,
know what's coming,
fortified
okay?
defensive line is a horrible thing. Not sure if you can hear me mashing the fucking escape
Hold tight,
button.
Lieutenant Colonel. The engineers should be here shortly.
Sir, intel reports enemy movement toward CD Ike.
Hardly surprising. You have to hold the line, Colonel. And remember, it's better to have our medium tanks taking the hits than our light ones.
Move to destination. Full speed. Yes, sir. Engage enemy. I repeat, engage enemy. Unit under fire.
Because I need to destroy these German tanks before they can basically fuck me up.
Reports enemy neutralized. Unit reports heavy fire. Unit reports damage, sir. Head to the new position, man. Sir, the agent we sent to spy is no longer active in the sector. Unit is giving up its position. Unit reports heavy fire.
Same bullshit.
Sir, reporting loss.
At least it was just a light tank.
Just a few more minutes, Colonel. The engineers are almost there.
Head to the new position, man. Sir, reporting losses.
Too aggressive.
Move to the indicated position, Commander.
I suppose the last time I got where I wasn't aggressive enough.
Squad Commander,
Two of
move out.
them.
Move unit into position. Squad Commander, target unit at following coordinates. We have been given a new ruse. Reporting. Unit under sustained fire. Receiving report. Our units are under fire.
Still made dumb mistakes there, but not as bad. The problem is I'm used to multiplayer, not multiplayer. I'm used to skirmishes, where I'll split my troops up and station them in woods, and words. We rely on ambushes, so I'm used to ambushing from multiple sides, which usually actually
Perfect.
there are a few
We'll
little
take the
tricks you can pull
headquarters
to
here.
freak the enemy out
That'll
and make
cut
them
the head off the snake that's hissing
not
at
decide
Colonel
which unit to attack.
Our spy has left the sector, sir. Squad Commander, go to your new position.
This is
Sir, the 16th Infantry Regiment is
a
ready
perfect
and
occasion
able.
for me to.
Excellent news. They're the only units
Oh yeah, you
we
can hold
have who can
shift and
neutralize their
stage a
18
waypoint.
guns.
I think this is the perfect occasion for me to forward base my troops where. Oh, because I don't have a ruse. And I don't appear to be building one up. Man, the light from that tent flap is fucking terrifying. Yeah, forward base my
We have been given a new ruse.
Oh, there you
Yes, sir. Our spy is on his way.
go. Yeah, if I put him here.
Yes, sir. Ordering unit to destination.
Forward base my tanks so that I can. These guys are definitely going to attack me because my infantry don't have anti-tank weaponry. Also, I love how the Italians allowed themselves to get to accident. Wow, they got butchered.
Enemy engaged.
Fuck me.
Move to the indicated position, Commander.
Why have my infantry eat the shock of this attack when I can have my fucking tanks?
Unit opening fire on the enemy.
And there, my delinquent Italian tanks sign. Nope, nope, nope.
Our spy has left the sector, sir. Move unit into position. Unit reports heavy fire. You have the coordinates.
Butchered.
Position. Yes, sir. Ordering unit to destination. Unit reports damage, sir. Sir, sir. Unit has been
I find it amazing that they were machine gunning while facing the other direction.
receiving report. Our units are under fire.
What the fuck are you doing? God damn it, you son of a
Breaking
bitch.
up, sir. Sir, our unit has been wiped out.
No, can't capture. So infantry capture enemy buildings. It's a great trick to play with that airborne, is to drop them behind the enemy lines and have them basically just capture the enemy base. And so what you do is you tie up the enemy in an assault. You drop your airborne, and it doesn't matter if the enemy blasts through your own troops. They don't have a base to replace their losses, and if you can rebuild, this requires a massive stockpile of resources. If you can rebuild faster than they can, you've won. No, attack.
Report confirmed. Target destroyed.
Jesus Christ. One of the longest mission yet. Is that once they take the training wheels off, the game becomes the missions become much longer, and
all enemy AT
the
guns
game
have been
takes
taken out.
they become more difficult. That's the word I was looking for.
Excellent. Their headquarters is ours.
Oh, well, I've been ostentatious listeners. You've all still been you. Jesus Christ. Oh, I'm glad I'm not doing any more today. Take care, guys.